Good evening, wherever you are watching from. And this is Bliss Oasis Ministries Live Talk. This is the talk that every week, every Thursday from 8:30, we are a bit late today. We sit together with my co-host, Wanjiro Mode, to discuss various things about life, spirituality, the mind, body, and so on. My name is Patrick Kugi. Wanjiro, salimia watu.
Hi everybody, my name is Wanjiro. I think Patrick ashanitaja sana. So yes, my name is Wanjiro, co-host.
Yeah, it is good for you to also to mention yourself, just in case labda, you never know. Tangu tulipoachana labda ulibadilisha jina.
Jina sijabadilisha, vile walikuwa wananiita bado ndivyo wananiita.
Vile too. So thank you again.
Yes.
And it's time for us again. As I said, we are normally here every Thursday, GMT 17:30 hours. If you are watching from anywhere in the world, but in Kenya it is 8:30 p.m. East African time. We are a bit late today, but we are here to do justice to the subject. This is the third episode of Light Talk, second season of Light Talk. And here in this season, we'll be talking a lot metaphysically about a lot of things. But the first three episodes, we have decided to touch on prayer. And in the last episode, we generally spoke about prayer, what it is, and how do you pray, and who do you pray to, and so on. But it's such a wide subject that we may not exhaust it immediately. And so today we are deciding to come or rather, we decided last week that this week we should be speaking about the Lord's Prayer. Lord's Prayer is very famous because it was taught to us by Jesus himself, and almost every child in kindergarten, not kindergarten, but what do you call them? Sunday school, catechism, they know about the Lord's Prayer. Do you have to say anything about it, Wachiro?
I just want to say it's a good prayer. It's a good prayer.
A good prayer because
but I don't know. I don't know how you want me to talk about it. Do you want me to talk about it as
when did you first hear about the Lord's Prayer, and how did you know about it?
I think I first learned about the Lord's Prayer for Sunday school.
Sunday school.
Yes, when we were forced to memorize. So I don't know whether we pray or we memorize the Lord's Prayer. I don't know which is which.
In kindergarten, or not, I don't know, I keep on saying kindergarten. In Sunday school and catechism classes, most of the time what they do is recite verses. And
Catholics
I never
recited everything.
verses. Yeah, I never recited. The school I went to, we never recited the verses. That's why I'm usually challenged when it comes to verses. Najuaga tu ile ya tithe.
Yes.
Sababu mapastors wanaitishaga sana tithe ile ya Malachi.
Malachi, is it 3:10?
Something like that. The ile so God loves the world that he sent his only beloved son, because it is
and Jesus wept. And Jesus wept.
Yes.
No, there was another one we used to recite. It was called Luke. We used to say in Kikuyu, Luke at 2:52.
And what did he say?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay. He used to go there. Nake Jesu agikura akiendagwo ni Ngai ona andu.
You're not speaking German. What does it mean?
He said that Jesus grew up and he was loved by God and people.
Yeah, that is very interesting, because you're not talking about when he was found in the temple. After the parents were looking for him all over the place for almost 3 days, and then they found him. And according to the Bible, that is the last time you hear about him. For 18 years, he disappears and comes back. That we're going to discuss.
And then comes and gives you the Lord's Prayer.
Where was he in the 18 years? Maybe you went to learn the Lord's Prayer. I don't know.
He wants to download the Lord's Prayer. He wants
Apparently.
you know, the Akashic, I hope I pronounced that right. The Akashic records and the Akashic and the downloads. So probably he went to download the info from the Akashic records.
No, don't confuse guys at the moment. Akashic records, those are things you're going to come and talk about later on. But I think you have a point. But even if you
alienda kudownload
hata kama alienda kudownload wapi, na yeye ndio alikuwa mambo yote na alikuwa na kila kitu.
But okay, let's talk about the Lord's Prayer because I was supposed
that's where you're going now. I
think we would have taken another direction asking
we'll go to those areas.
Like, is Jesus really a person? Like was Jesus really a physical person, or was Jesus a level of consciousness?
Sorry?
Was Jesus really a person, or was Jesus a level of consciousness that we all can attain?
I mean, he taught us the Lord's Prayer, so he must have been a higher level, but gradually we hope to be there eventually. So let's not digress now.
Yes, let's not digress.
Yeah. This is the Lord's Prayer, and Lord's Prayer now, as we mentioned last week, there have been controversies about the alleged changes in the Lord's Prayer. Maybe the Pope or somebody want to use new words, I don't know, and then people are making noise. How can you change the words?
I think we're having.
But then if it is changing, then it was changed even when the Bible was changed, was translated into Greek, maybe into other languages, into English. Each time the words were changing. So it doesn't matter, the words, although sometimes when you do change something from one language to the other, there's something that gets lost. Yeah, the actual essence might get lost a bit, but the general meaning, the general message is still there. So I am of the opinion that, I'm of the opinion that even if there was a lot of translation between, something might have been lost, but there's still the central message in the Lord's Prayer. And so we should not just wipe it off or say we shouldn't touch it and so on. But after saying that, the translation itself could have given us a different meaning to an extent. We get it. But maybe just dwell it and use the normal phraseology that is used when you are saying the prayer, which is, for those who may not be Christians, they may not know what the Lord's Prayer is. It's a famous prayer of our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, and so on and so forth. So, Sidio hiyo.
I lost you a bit because of my internet. My internet was a bit shaky and I lost you a bit. So, but I believe you were talking. Yeah, I believe you're talking about the different impacts, the impact of different translations that we could have on the Lord's Prayer.
Yeah.
Which is funny because recently, I think we had my cat is disturbing me. We had even the recent edition of the Lord's Prayer when the Pope decided to say, now, okay, there are some words that we're going to add. And you're like, so if it was the Lord's Prayer, so why are you adding words? Why are you adding words? Are you Jesus? So that means if we're having such editions now, it only means that probably even the one that we have now has been edited several times, and the meaning could have been lost along the way.
Yes.
And what we do is merely reciting words that we don't even know what we are saying. We don't know.
I think we will know. I think we would know. The problem will
because
be it may not be the okay. Obviously, it may not be the original words, but the central message should be
you
the
see
same. For
what I
example,
mean by knowing. Okay.
the youth today use a language called Sheng. Yeah. Sorry, viewers. There seem to be internet connection problem between me and my host. Are you there, Manjiro?
No, I can hear. Yeah, I can follow.
What I'm saying, today, if somebody
Mm-hmm.
decided in Kenya to rewrite the prayer in Sheng, which is the language, which is the street lingo of the youth, the message may still be the same, but obviously the words will be totally different. You get it?
You see what I meant by knowing? I meant someone is going to write those words, and they translate, and then I come and they say this is the Lord's prayer. So you start memorizing. You really do not know what you're talking about, and then along the way, someone comes and edits and says, okay, now stop that. Now start using this version. You don't know what you're saying because you're using words. You're being instructed to use certain words that someone has chosen for you. So what do you know? What do you know? Do you really know what you're saying? Do we really know what we are saying when we are praying the Lord's Prayer? Or do we
But
just follow it because someone said that is the right words to use?
I guess the translators might once in a while be wrong in their choice of words, but the central message usually gets done unless they are mischievous. But the central message is usually given, although one or two things might have been left. One of the few essential things may be left or lost, but the general message normally reaches the intended public. Or don't you think so?
Why do we have to have words chosen for us? Why can't we just be allowed to pray? We flow. Why do we have to follow certain selected words? And who decides that those are the best words to put
Who
in a
selected?
Lord's Prayer?
Who selected? Who select the words in the Lord's Prayer?
See, I think it's the Pope.
Sorry?
I believe it's the Pope.
The words that the Pope is changing, whatever is changing, who selected them?
Well, I believe it is said.
No, the words in your Bible.
It is
The words in
said.
your
It is
Bible.
said. It
Sorry?
is said it was Jesus.
The original
Can you
words
hear
were
me?
his.
Why it is said they were Jesus, but now if they have been edited along the way, are we even sure it's a Jesus? They belong to
So what are
someone
you
else?
saying? So what you're saying is that the Lord's Prayer is no longer the Lord's Prayer. That's what you're saying.
It is no longer the Lord's Prayer. That's what I'm saying. It is no
So
longer. It's
what
now
would you call it? What would you
a combination of different different words by different popes. But anyway, let's go with the one that we have. Let's go.
You cannot say different word by different popes because the Pope has never written the Lord's Prayer or even translated it. Maybe the
How
current
sure
one
are
wants
we?
to put new words. Okay,
If the current
suppose.
one has edited, how sure
Okay.
are we that in 1500 the Pope that was there did not edit?
Let me
How sure
ask
are
you a
we that
question.
it has not been edited?
Let me ask you this question. If today you are given the original text written by maybe Matthew, who had, or Peter, let's say St. Peter, who had Jesus teaching them the prayer and wrote it in their language. If I bring it to you, would that be Lord's Prayer?
The original words that were written by Peter. The original words that were written by Peter. Or whoever was there. I could believe that. I could
But
believe
suppose
that.
what would you believe?
I could believe the very original text.
Of Jesus, what? Okay.
Yeah.
Would you read it? Would you be able to read it and understand?
Well, I would of course rely on a translator.
And that's what we are saying. We are reading what is translated. And the
That's
first
fine. There is
translator,
no problem with that. Mhm.
the first translator obviously will be getting from the original. But you may not get
Okay.
even if today, even if right now, if to say uamke asubuhi ufungue macho uone Yesu ndio huyo amesimama hapo, akwambie maneno ile atakwambia. When you come to me, obviously what you'll be telling me will not be the original words.
You know the funny thing is, do you know the funny thing is, it would be a reported speech. It should
Sorry, it will be reported speech.
it would be reported speech.
Yeah. So nothing is really original unless you hear it. Then that's why you need that's why we need bloggers, newspaper, reporters, translators. That's why we need them. And whatever you get eventually.
I don't have I don't have a problem with translation and reported speech, but I do have a problem with adding or changing text, or rather adding text, like it was done by recent.
If we took the Lord's
when
Prayer,
you start adding, can you hear me?
Yes.
If you start adding, it brings now the question: how sure are we that even the one that we have had is an original text? I don't know if my point is coming out. The problem is not with the reported speech or the translated speech. The problem is when they start adding, then you start to question even what has existed.
So what has been added?
Well, I can't remember, but there's something that the current Pope added in the Lord's Prayer.
You don't remember what it was.
I can do a quick search, and I can.
I think he was trying to clarify something.
What is he clarifying after all those years? Wasn't Jesus sure of what he was telling us? Why is he clarifying what Jesus was saying? Jesus was sure of what he was saying.
And you know, Angelo, if you cannot pinpoint what was being added, I don't see why you are complaining. Show me what was being added and say it's wrong. Show me what was being added and say, okay, wangeongeza hii, wangetoa hii. Mokoma. So this discussion with my co-host.
Wait a minute, add in the Lord.
So this discussion.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I think you have a problem with your internet.
So he said, instead of saying lead us not into temptations, he said that we shall not be saying, do not let us fall into temptations. Why does he feel like Jesus was wrong on leading us not to? Why does he feel that the statement that Jesus said was wrong?
Do you know there are two versions of the Lord's Prayer?
So now which one is right?
Yeah, I'm asking you. So should we ignore both of them?
Yeah, because we don't know which one was Jesus' speech.
So we should ignore the Lord's Prayer because we don't know which is correct.
Yes, because if there are two versions, then it means that even the people who brought that Bible to us in the first place are confused. They don't know what they are bringing. So,
in that case,
if Jesus was one, wait, let me ask you, Mr. Patrick. If Jesus was one, why do we have two Lord's Prayers?
So I'm asking you, because there are two and we don't know which one is correct, Christianity should do away with the Lord's Prayer.
Completely.
Because it doesn't make sense.
Totally.
Do you throw away the baby with the bathwater?
But we're not throwing away the whole Christianity. We are throwing away the Lord's Prayer.
We are throwing away the Lord's Prayer because we don't know which is the right version. Maybe we should take.
We are not throwing the whole religion.
Maybe we should look at the two versions and decide which is right and which is wrong.
We cannot know because we didn't hear Jesus teach. We were never there when Jesus was talking, so how can we know which one is right?
Yeah, one of them ends with, "For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory." The other one just ends before those words. And one of them, either those words were removed or the words were added.
So which one is right? Which one? According to you, which one is right?
One of them is Protestant.
According to you, which one is right?
One of them is Protestant. The other is Catholic. So it depends where you go to.
How many Jesus do we have? How many Jesuses do we have?
Very many. All you need to do is all you need to do is go to the internet and look at the paintings. Some are black, some are white.
So which one is correct? Is it the Protestant one or the Catholic one?
When you tell me whether Jesus was Catholic, Protestant, or Jew, then you're Protestant, depending where it was. Depending which religion he was, you're on the right one. If Jesus is Catholic, you're Catholic and you're correct.
But Jesus was not even a religious guy. He didn't even have a church to go to. He wasn't church oriented. He was actually frontline fighting the, what are they called? The church leaders, the religious leaders. He was frontline fighting them. So which church did Jesus belong to?
Church of God.
Which one is that?
Church of his father.
The guy used to work even on Sundays when the other lawmakers were getting angry. That is when he's busy performing miracles. Then then now we have to choose a prayer that he taught. I'm not even sure which one it is. So how sure are we are actually reciting the Lord's Prayer? Which Lord?
Let me ask you. Have you ever gone through the Lord's Prayer?
Yes, I have.
Whether the Anglican or the Catholic, have you ever gone through it?
The Catholic one, because I've grown in the Catholic Church, so obviously the Catholic one.
They are all the same. They are all the same, except that last wording. And one talks about debts, the other talks about trespasses, the other talks about debts. Forgive us our debts. The other talks about forgive us. Whether your debts ni poa.
Sana. Tunafaa kwanza tuchukue hiyo ya debts because we'll be telling people to forgive our debts, please.
Yeah, so okay, I was asking you. So you of course you went through that prayer because you grew up in Catholic Church, and you still know it by heart. Yes or no?
Yes.
Good. Does it make sense to you? Or was it just blabbering or wrong translation, that's so you're not interested?
Does it make sense to me now or before?
At all.
Now that's a very tricky question because I exist in two. I exist in two lives. There was the Christian life,
but then remember, Wanjiru, Remember, Jesus did not come to start a religion. So we should say
That's what I have just said a few minutes ago.
Yes, he didn't come to start a religion. So looking at that point, Jesus was not a religious person. Does it make sense if I say that?
Does it make sense?
Another way of looking at the same thing is asking you, the 10 Commandments, are they for Christians?
Are they for Christians? What does that mean?
I mean, we were taught about the 10 Commandments when we went to Sunday school. So are those commandments for Christians?
Yeah. They don't apply to anyone else. So they apply to Christians.
A Muslim is allowed to kill. A Muslim is allowed to steal. A Muslim is allowed to. They are allowed.
They have their own set of rules.
So their own set of rules. Do they allow them? Are they free from murdering?
I can tell you, for example, the Muslims marry 4 wives. Christians does not allow that. So
now they don't. Let me ask you something. In the 10 Commandments, why is it say that we marry 1 wife or 2 wives? Or
okay,
1 wife?
That is not in the 10 Commandments. I'm saying we are talking about rules. We are talking about rules. Do Christian rules apply to everyone, or do they apply to the Christians only? Now, the 10 Commandments are in the Bible. Who uses the Bible? The Christians. So that means the 10 Commandments are only applicable to the Christians. They are not applicable. You cannot tell a Muslim to follow what is in the Bible. They only follow what is in the Quran. So the same case applies to Indians, or not Indians, Hindus. There was the practice that they don't follow the Bible. They have got their own book. So you cannot follow what is in the Quran because you're a Christian. So the 10 Commandments applies to Christians. The Lord's Prayer applies to Christians.
Let me ask you this question. The 10 Commandments. Yes. The 10 Commandments, any of them, those shall not steal, those whatever it is, those shall not steal, and we keep on stealing. Those shall not do this, we keep on doing it. But are they not universal laws? If you went to an Indian,
no, they are not. No, they are not. They are in the Bible. They're in the Bible.
You know, the Bible is the most recent, holy book. You know, you've had holy books tens of thousands of years before the Bible. Do you know about the Golden Rule?
Well, the Bible now is what is being used by most people.
You know about the Golden Rule?
I don't know about the Golden Rule, and I believe most other people do not know about the Golden Rule, but they do know about the 10 Commandments. So if you ask them
Okay, let me put it this way. What is the great commandment according to Jesus?
Again, we go to Jesus, who is a Christian, or who is the leader of the Christian community.
Jesus wasn't a Christian, by the way. He wasn't.
Okay, but Jesus is followed by Christians.
But he wasn't a Christian. They follow him. They are called Christians.
But Jesus is the leader of the Christianity religion. So
he's not the leader. They follow him.
Okay. If people follow someone, what is that someone doing? That someone is leading. That is why they are following. So now Jesus,
you're avoiding my question.
I'm not avoiding. I'm trying to explain.
Say you don't know. What was the greatest commandment according to Jesus?
If we ask an Indian that question, who doesn't practice Christianity, is that person going to answer?
Are you an Indian?
But I'm also not a Christian.
Sema ujui nikwambie.
I'm also not a Christian, Mr. Ngugi, so I don't know. What was the greatest commandment of Jesus?
Love your neighbor as you love yourself. Do unto the others as you like them to do to you. Do you know Buddha was saying the same thing thousands of years before Christ?
Okay.
Do you know that? You don't know?
No, I don't.
Good. At least now you know. It's a universal law. If you want something good to happen to you, do it to others. And the 10 Commandments say the same thing, except indirectly.
Okay.
And so
That doesn't mean that the Muslims have to follow the 10 Commandments. That doesn't mean that African traditional society have to follow the 10 Commandments. That rule does not apply. The way those 10 Commandments are saying.
Wanjiro, let me ask you. African traditional religions, are they allowed to kill?
Yes.
To murder, they're allowed?
Yes. If they used to go to war, they were not going to celebrate, they were going to kill people. During let me explain, Mr. Ngugi. During the fight for independence, Mau killed. They killed. So yes, it is allowed. It is not malicious killing.
Would you kill your sister tomorrow?
It is not malicious killing. Now, if we talk about you're not supposed to kill, please tell me why there are so many killings in Europe, which is the origin of this Bible that says do not kill. Bombings.
The Bible is not from Europe.
Why do we have armies that kill? No, let me ask you, in a very religious country like we want us to discuss. So let me ask you, why do we have an army whose work is actually to kill other people, yet we are in a very religious country, a Christian country that does not allow killing?
Is it a country that does not allow killing?
We are a very religious country, right? Almost 90% of this country is Christianity, is Christians.
And why do they kill?
Why? They are not supposed to be killing. They're supposed to be doing other